The month of June in 2022 was an action-packed month to be out trackside. I decided to kick the month off with my best friend Mark Landers and a little weekend along CSX in South Georgia. It's just about the end of the day on June 4th. I was on my way south to Manchester when I heard radio chatter from train I-142 around Noonan on the A&WP subdivision. I get lights set up at North End Greentop, since that was my closest spot to me, and watch them muscle north towards Fairburn. The only other train on the XXB was hot intermodal train I-028, leaving Fairburn behind the I-142. It wasn't too long of a wait as I set up here at Moreland in the dead of night. They break the silence, moving at speed with a straight shot south to LaGrange. transitioned over to the Lineville Subdivision as I'm coming into Manchester after hearing train I-197 departing, heading towards LaGrange. They passed the Judson Bullich Road crossing at just after 2300. I arrive in Manchester with trains all over the place, one stopped and one departing. Manchester is one of the gateways that serves the south on the CSX system. A majority of traffic coming out of Jacksonville, Waycross, and Savannah would run up the busy Fitzgerald Subdivision to Manchester, and would then turn towards Atlanta, Montgomery, or Birmingham from here. This hotspot sees an estimated 30 to 40 trains a day in a 24-hour period. Mark and I would camp out here before adventuring down the Fitzgerald Subdivision in the morning. got some good rest as we wake up the next morning waiting to see if CSX would give us a good train to chase south. It was all quiet. Train M605 in front of us had tied down at Childs, blocking our view, and there wasn't a soul around the crew room. That gave us time to get some breakfast until we heard the train that gave us our ticket south. At 07:56, train I-125 pulls through CP North End Manchester to the yard office for the crew swap, with a YN2 AC44CW GE leading the way. There's no telling how long these YN2 painted locomotives would be around, so we decided to stick with this train along with other traffic they would have to meet along the way. Mark and I left Manchester scouting for locations before they departed. We surprisingly ran into southbound freight train X647 as we came into Charing, Georgia. This is train X64704. They had originally ran as Q64731 out of Chicago. I'm not sure why they changed it to an X symbol, but CSX had just started running their new M-Series trains as a part of their train symbol updates. Maybe it had something to do with that, or a lack of crews. Mark and I then get in position to catch northbound train M542, slowly creeping around the curve, hitting the A&B 751 intermediate signals. M542 climbs the grade, we were able to play leapfrog with them at Muck, catching them a couple of times before having to meet southbound I-125 at Santee. We then wait for the I-125 at Muck, where our chase began at 0948. We had a great crew on board, with the engineer giving us a nice little horn show at each location. They were moving at a good pace until we get to CP North End Bartlett with a medium approach signal. The I-125 would take the siding and hold at the south end for a brief moment to meet northbound train I-142. While we were waiting, we witnessed a grain train working at Tyson Feed Mill, but it didn't look like they would be hitting the main line anytime soon. The I-125 approached our location at 10:22. About 15 minutes later, here came train I-142 northbound on the main line. I felt bad for this crew. It was about 80 degrees Fahrenheit and increasing, and their lead motor had no AC. Luckily, they were getting close to Manchester where they would hand it off to the next crew to take it to Fairburn. The chase with I-125 got back underway as they passed through Oglethorpe and Montezuma, Georgia. We had a little hiccup getting through Montezuma, so we couldn't get ahead until we got to Lilly, which is one of my favorite spots on the Fitzgerald Subdivision.
Number 1 track, CSX TV locomotive, 1228, southbound.
The next spot I had in mind was a place I hadn't been to in a while, but didn't realize it gets a little overgrown over the summer. I-125 then holds at Ross Siding to wait on northbound train M648, finding them to have another YN2 AC44CW GE leader. Mark and I went to catch them over the diamonds in downtown Cordele, Georgia. My camera died about halfway through, but I can't pass up the great sound of this train hitting the double-track diamond. Good thing I had my iPhone handy. Cordele, in my opinion, is one of the best places to be trackside in South Georgia. The railfan platform is a nice added touch, as we see traffic from the Heart of Georgia Railway, Norfolk Southern, and CSX. Although today's show was all CSX. The I-125 gets signals south behind the M648, crossing the diamonds at 12:23. We decided to let them go after a decent chase from Mach.
125.03. Cleared. NS cross. CSXT lead locomotive 428 southbound.
It was then time for lunch. Cookout seemed to be the trend lately, so that's what we got. A burger, fries, and onion rings, and my all-time favorite cookies and cream milkshake made for a great meal at the platform. After a little dead spell by the time we finished lunch, traffic on CSX started picking back up. At 14:06, train I-126 makes a northbound run on its journey between Savannah and Memphis. Following behind was train M514, daily freight out of Waycross bound for Nashville, Tennessee. There was one thing I wanted to try and capture with this next CSX train, and that was speed. Rebecca, Georgia would be the place, with a maximum speed of 60 miles an hour. But a northbound train approaching would slow down hot intermodal train I-125, the hottest train on the Fitzgerald Subdivision. Northbound empty coal train E002 runs through behind I-125 without stopping, diverging back to the main. This train came from Bostwick, Florida, at the Seminole Electric Plant bound for Atkinson, Kentucky. We then heard southbound loaded coal train CO40 in the vicinity and waited for them in between Rebecca and Hatley, Georgia, at the Highway 159 road crossing. Surprising us in the consist was XLMS CW40-8, number 7929. Mark and I then moved back to the other side of Cordele, finding train Q203 stopped in Ross Siding getting fuel en route towards Waycross. They were blocking northbound train M605 stopped on the main on the other side. Within a short time frame, the Q203 pulled down, clearing the north end Ross CP, allowing for the dispatcher to flip the switch to normal for M605 to proceed north. This would be our chaser back towards Manchester. After getting beat several times, we finally got ahead of M605 at Montezuma, rounding the curve along Beaver Creek. Daylight was fading with a beautiful sunset to end the day. We're back at CP North End Bartlett catching hot northbound intermodal train I-026 with my last hopes at getting them at speed. Unfortunately, they weren't moving at 60 miles an hour, but we did get them riding into the sunset, which I thought was still a win in my book. Southbound loaded ethanol train B735 was waiting at South End Bartlett for I-026. We went back to Montezuma to catch them, finding some foreign power, a Canadian National ET44AC and the 100th anniversary paint scheme leading the way. After the sun had set for the day, Mark and I were able to catch a few more trains as we were heading north. We ran into southbound train X541 in Rupert, Georgia, going over the A&WP 743.7 defect detector. This is an extra Q or M541 originating out of Doghouse Yard in Union City, Georgia, bound for Waycross.
CSX detector, milepost 743.7, no defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axles 496. Detector out.
We then ran into southbound intermodal train I-198, which was probably the fastest train we caught during our trip crossing over Buena Vista Highway. Our last train of the day before calling it a night at 22:30 was southbound mixed freight train M221, running between Birmingham, Alabama and Baldwin, Florida. On this very date, Mark and I have celebrated 7 years of friendship together. We've been on many adventures in the past, and ever since meeting him for the first time, we've been brothers ever since. I enjoyed having this little adventure with him and always look forward to the next one. Make sure you check out his channel linked at the end of this video and in the description below. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video. Also, please subscribe to the channel and enable that notification bell as well. See y'all next time from Junction City, Georgia at milepost A&WP 765.8 along CSX's Fitzgerald Subdivision.
Clear signal for NS.
Bro, are you kidding me?
I see that old southern signal being clear.
Freaking A. Hold up, we gotta check this out. Come on, NS, don't do this to
If
me.
it's red on this side, that means somebody's
That means something's coming.
after that 125.
I swear it better be yellow.
I hope it
Yep,
is.
it's yellow. Thank God. I was about to say, Mark, do not give me another freaking heart attack. I swear. That's the last thing I need today, boy. Man, you freaking see a clear thing. Oh, we gotta see there's train coming. Man, there ain't no train coming.